Tonight's call comes from a woman haunted by something that started in her sleep. A presence, she says, tried to drain the air and life from her lungs. But the encounters didn't stop there. Encounters with something she believes could have been alien in nature. Something out of this world.
Paranormal Payphone.
All right, welcome back into Paranormal Payphone, where we always answer after midnight, but we never whoop that trick. I am Steve and Brandon. We are here today. We got a great episode. We got a real crossover episode here because two of our big heavy hitters that we've gotten have been like people that have dealt with like sleep paralysis stuff or aliens, and we got a twofer on this one.
And we've got a maybe this, maybe that. We maybe have a Dementor in this.
You know, I mean, here's the thing:
little Harry Potter action going on.
Little Harry Potter. What would your Patronus be? You know, if you could lay out that light animal, what would it be?
I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure. Yeah, that's too much. That requires too much thought because anything that I'm going to say, you're going to bust me up over.
I mean, here's the thing. I think that you could come up with something really cool in this. Like you could say like a phoenix or a dragon or that terrifying dog in your house. Like one of those things.
Yeah.
Myself personally, I would go with dolphins because clearly there's something going on there. And I think they could take out a Dementor if they have to.
Would you name it Gerald?
Listen, that name already spoken in hushed tones throughout the internet. I can't have Gerald running around.
It's the kingpin of the dolphin world.
That's right. 100%. So we have all this going on in just one little phone call. And it is so cool to see like the melding of the two things, because there are some new thoughts that are going around about aliens and sleep and stuff like that. So I'm interested to get into this and really kind of see your thoughts on things.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot going on regarding that.
What do you mean by that? Elaborate.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracies going on right now. You've got the Artemis moon mission, which involves, some space.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's like the definition of it, involving some space.
Here we go.
Okay.
Settle down.
All right.
Settle down.
Supposedly.
Allegedly is the word there. But no, have you heard anything about these scientists that are going missing?
I've heard just a little bit. I will say it's about time. No, I'm just kidding.
Is Bill Nye still around?
Yeah.
I don't know about this guy.
If that dude hasn't gotten black masked and thrown in the back of a van yet, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he needs it. But as of now, there are 11 scientists that have gone missing around or since President Trump announced that he was going to declassify all the UFO information. But there's one in particular that really stuck out to me, and it's retired Air Force General William Neal McCaslin. Do you know about him?
Well, I don't know nearly as much about it as you do because I could not have said his name. So please tell me more.
It was
about
a lot.
This.
That was a lot.
You dug deep. I'm proud of you.
I did, man. So this guy, Trump announced on February 20th he was going to do this. So on February 27th, exactly 1 week later, this guy goes missing. And there's no trace of him. He left his prescription glasses, his phone, everything at the house except a red backpack, a wallet, and a gun. Disappeared. No video evidence of where he's at. Nothing. And they've been searching high and low for this guy because he's considered to have like one of the greatest minds as far as the scientific research for UAP, whatever I'm trying to say here.
Yeah.
So,
I get what you're saying. He's considered to be one of the leading experts in the UAP UFO field.
Yeah, he is. But what interested me the most in him was that he commanded the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio.
Okay.
And that is where they took all the debris from the Roswell crash. And they work on the reverse engineering of these vehicles that they recover there.
Yeah.
And now he's gone.
And they're afraid that all of that is hanging out in a red JanSport somewhere, running around.
They're concerned, maybe he's been taken, like some kind of espionage or something. But it's just really weird that these people are just vanishing. They're either dead,
Yeah.
or they just vanish and they're missing, and nobody knows where they're at.
And all of them, the thing that was interesting about all of them is they all had some sort of connection to some UFO, UAP field, whether they were former NASA scientists, former military scientists. They were just leading minds in that space. But for all of them to go missing in such a short time period, that is super strange.
It's very strange. And another interesting thing I saw with General McCaslin was that he was a close confidant, allegedly, of Blink-182's Tom DeLonge.
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. I
He
will not go. Yeah.
He turned the lights off. Ain't no one following home.
That's right. So this is just, there's a lot with that just doesn't make sense whatsoever to me. And so that's what I saw.
That is super, super interesting. And I do love the Tom DeLonge Blink-182 thing. Yeah. I actually saw a video this week where a gentleman, and I forget who it was, so please forgive me, was talking about being at his wedding.
Okay.
And he's a musician, producer guy. And as he's walking down, he sees Tom DeLonge and Trent Reznor sitting there talking with each other. And he goes, "Oh no, I need to get over there." And he runs up, and as he runs up, Tom's like, "Hey, congratulations, I'm going to go to the bar." And he looks at Trent and goes, "What was going on? What was he telling you?" He goes, "I don't know, this dude showed me a picture of a dead alien." And then walked away.
Trent Reznor was probably like, "Get me out of here."
He's like, "What are we doing right now?" But so the fact that he has these ties to Tom, and you know, Tom's just out there with dead alien pictures on his phone.
Yeah.
You know, showing the dude from 9 Inch Nails. So what's
don't
shocking,
treat him like an animal.
That's right. The conversation was a real downward spiral.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is the fact that they work together, but Tom's still hanging out.
Yeah.
Tom's still around.
Yeah.
He's just openly showing these things. But all these scientists and journalists and these different people that have this information are on the run. And Tom's just like, "Hey, check it out. Look what I got here."
Look what I got. Yeah.
The other interesting thing is the fact that it took place in Ohio, and the Air Force base there in Ohio. Because if you remember, a few weeks ago we talked about the fact that there was the mass Bigfoot migration in that area, and they actually went around a military base. When you like mapped it all out and charted their path, they were going from the northeast section of Ohio into Appalachia, but took a path around a military base as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I got to thinking about this. And do you think that some of these cryptid, you know, are they military assets, perhaps? Like, you know, engineered
Colonel
creature-
Foote?
Yeah, something. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. General Dogman. What are we
General.
doing on this? I mean, I think there's a real possibility that something like that could be the case.
Yeah, but
you
just
know?
being all around that base, but not cutting through. And I understand security and all that, but it's just really weird that they go around, and they were hovering around this.
Well, they always talk about how a lot of the cryptids, especially like your Bigfoot and things like that, they can see and sense cameras. And so that's the thing that they say that the reason why we don't have great pictures and everything we have is like blurry and distorted is the fact that they can see the cameras, they can see the technology, they can sense the electronics, and so they kind of avoid it. To think that they could be part of some sort of military operation, and so maybe they just avoid it because, I don't know, they're AWOL, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're on the run, or because they've been trained how to do this. I mean, I think it's a real possibility of something like that.
Yeah, it just blows my mind, all the different theories around these things, man.
And the fact that no matter what, the good old U.S. government is right in the center of it. You know, just
always.
Here's the thing. I'm not that mad at it, you know, because they should get this stuff out there. Every time I hit a pothole, I am furious. I'm like, my tax dollars hard at work doing nothing. If you're like, but we are training dogmen to attack people, I'll be like, you know what? That's my tax dollars hard at work right there. I'll take that.
I can get behind that. What if we're developing super soldiers that like Bigfoot, Dogman, different skinwalkers, whatever?
Is this like a Monstars Space Jam situation?
We could
we're
have
building
that. Yeah.
Listen, I am on board for something like that. That could be okay right there.
Yeah, we don't need Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier.
Yeah, no, we don't need the Universal Soldier out here.
Give me Mr. Foot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm sorry. That's Lieutenant Foot.
Lieutenant
Foot
I
coming out
stand
there.
corrected.
That's right. Put the respect on his time served, buddy. Okay. So I think that is a super interesting thing. And I think it would be really cool if they were working together, because it would make sense too, again, to go back to that national park situation. Yep. They've built in this pathway for them to travel. Like it's a protected thing. And I like it better than us just being like, hey, we can't control these guys. Let's just give them a place for them to roam. And then hopefully they don't do anything crazy. What are your thoughts on this? What if those Bigfoot migrations throughout Ohio, what if they were the ones abducting all these scientists?
Oh.
How's that sound?
Oh, that's a very interesting thought.
Little stealthy squatch.
Yeah.
Little sneaky.
No pictures.
No pictures.
There's no video evidence.
No video evidence.
The best weapon you've got.
That's right. And it would also explain why he took nothing but his sidearm in a red Jansport backpack, that he probably had since middle school, because those things lasted
forever.
I mean, just an ungodly amount of time those things lasted. Yeah. What was your backpack of choice?
I always had one of the characters, the He-Mans, or I think it might have been a Smurf one in there.
There might have been a Smurf one in there.
Scooby-Doo, there's all kinds.
So at what age did you transition out of the characters into like
just a normal camo?
Just a normal camo?
Yeah.
Okay, just a normal camo.
Just a normal camo. Probably, I'd say middle school. Get the Trapper Keepers.
Yeah.
Needed a little bigger, storage for those.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm aging, showing my age right now.
I like that you also went camo. Like, like the black one was always the standard one where I grew up. I had a green one myself. And that was the move. But you went straight camo.
Yeah. Why not?
Boy, that Tennessee is just showing on you
It's
hard
deep,
right now.
isn't it?
Was it like military, or was it like Realtree?
It wasn't Digi.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't Digi.
Okay. Yeah. It was that time frame. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Did you have any pants that were Digi camo too?
Oh yeah.
Ah, gosh, I know you did.
I rotated between those and the spandex that my mother put me in. With the racing stripes. I am not scarred by this at all.
Listen, she's offered to send pictures in, and it's only by my good grace that they haven't hit our TikTok or Instagram page. But if you do want to see them, you head over to TikTok or Instagram and follow us at Paranormal Payphone, and possibly see a young Brandon just strutting his stuff in some digi camo, maybe some spandex,
t-shirt tucked in.
Oh, for sure.
It's so hot.
What was with that?
I don't know. I don't get it.
Here's the real question. Did you ever clip your cell phone to your belt?
I never went that far.
You never went that far?
I couldn't do that, no.
Okay, that tucked in t-shirt made me think that you might have gone that far.
I do have a fanny pack.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite memories from a wrestling meetup. Was my dad's best friend. He was our neighbor.
Harley race.
We went to no. But it was good. We went and met Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh wow.
At a Best Buy opening.
Oh wow.
And he's back 30, 40 in line, and he's like, 6'4", 6'5", like a tall guy. He kind of stood out, right? And he had his fanny pack on. And Bobby the Brain Heenan pops his head around the corner and goes, "We all know you're playing with yourself." It popped it back. And this guy, he's 6'5", shaved head, bald, and he just turned bright red, and we're all like, look over. And he's like, I don't know what to do now. I was like, well, you can't leave. Like,
Yeah,
now you got to see
no.
this all the way through.
Hated Bobby the Brain growing up.
Really?
Hated him, but as I've gotten older, it's like, oh, he was great.
Yeah, he was really doing some good
Yes,
stuff back
he
in the
was.
day. You know, especially calling out middle-aged dudes with fanny packs.
Yeah.
But speaking of calling out, let's get into this phone call.
Let's do it.
Hi, longtime listener, first time caller. I've already done the hard work of naming this episode for you, so you're welcome. The episode is Sleep Demon or Alien Abduction. You tell me. Okay, so just jumping right in. I have always been a dreamer. Like, like a sleep dreamer. I mean, I'm a dreamer in real life too, but like a sleep dreamer. I dream all the time. So I've always been a dreamer. Always had very, very vivid dreams. Always like funny, sad, happy, you name it, I've had it. I've had the teeth falling out dream. I've had the I'm a server again and I can't get ranch to that table dream. And then I've just had a dream about like walking around Target. Nothing. Like literally nothing happened except for the fact that I went shopping at Target. I also can get physical during my dreams. My grandma would always tell the story about how in the middle of the night I sat up and started pretend scanning like I was still working at a grocery store and I was just checking people out. She said I just kept pretend scanning the air, and so she had to get me to lay back down. So, you know, needless to say, I am no stranger to nightmares, to bad dreams, to whatever. So, I was dead asleep. Weirdly enough, I was not dreaming because I remember I woke up, I felt a presence, and I woke up. And I just opened my eyes and I looked straight up at my ceiling, and there is this creature. It is like a black, floating, ambiguous looking creature. Honestly, it almost looks like a Dementor from Harry Potter, but it wasn't that though. I know I've had dreams about like specific monsters from TV shows or movies or whatever. I used to have a dream where the green slime guy would chase me down a hallway and then eat me and then spit me back out, the like green slime guy from Ghostbusters. And so that was like I've had that dream. So like I know a dream from reality, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I open my eyes and it feels very heavy and dark in the room. It's just pitch black in the room and I just see it. It's just floating right above me. It was so bizarre looking. I'm laying there and I cannot move. And it was like, I felt like it was trying to actually suck the life out of me, which again, I know it's not a Dementor, I swear. I really felt like it was trying to take me, almost like take the goodness out of me and from me. And if you've ever seen the show Evil or Haunting of Hill House, if you've ever seen what they're, like how they depict sleep paralysis, it's like spot on and exactly how I felt because I was awake. I could see my ceiling. It was my ceiling. It was my room. It was my bed. And it's just this creature was trying to just suck the life out of me. And so I managed to move around enough. And in my mind, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Of course, I'm not. In my mind, I'm praying. I'm just literally praying this thing away. And I remember it was so close to me and I just kept praying. And then Brandon finally woke up from, you know, what little noise I was making. Cause I asked him afterwards, I said, I was screaming. How did it take you so long to hear me? And he's like, no, you were just like kind of tossing back and forth a little bit. But I'm telling you, I was fighting. I felt like I was fighting for my life. So he wakes me up and I sit up and, you know, trying to take a deep breath and trying to go back to sleep. But it was the most realistic, scary feeling I have ever had until I had this next dream. So this is just the introduction. Okay, this is the dream where I would love to hear your opinion on if it was an almost alien abduction or if it was just another sleep paralysis demon. So, just like before, there's something in the room. I feel uncomfortable. I feel weird. I open my eyes. I look up, and I am not in my room. I am on a gurney, and I am strapped to this gurney. Now, I feel very groggy, almost like I was obviously like half asleep, right, or coming out of a very deep sleep, but it almost felt like I was given something, like that Sudafed, like cold head, like NyQuil feeling, you know, when you're trying to wake up and you just feel out of it. It felt like that. And so I'm just kind of laying there, and I open my eyes and I look around, and there's lights on, so completely different from my first experience. And it looks like almost like an operating room. There's like, it's very sterile. It's got the big long bulbs, whatever those things are called that I can't think of. It looked weird, but I was completely strapped down. I could like move my fingers, I could move my toes, but every other part of me was strapped down, and my mouth was taped shut or covered shut. I don't know what it was. So I remember laying there and I'm just looking around, and again, couldn't scream if I wanted to. I couldn't move. It was so odd feeling, because then in walks this creature, almost like a big, almost like just a big old goon. Like it didn't necessarily not look human, but it didn't look like a human I've ever seen before. It had human-like features. It had hands, feet, eyes, nose, whatever. But it was very like goonish looking. And he comes walking in, and he's huge. He comes walking in, and then out from his back, attached to him, almost like telling him what to do and controlling him, is this long, robotic looking arm that at the end of it has an eyeball. Not like a human eye. It's still a robotic looking type eye. Actually, it was a weird looking eye. I don't know how to explain it, but because it blinked, and it like blinked as it like talked to me and stuff. And it was doing the talking. The goon was just like grunting, one way or the other. So this long robotic eye comes out from the back, and it starts talking to me. And I don't remember the conversation. I just remember sheer panic. I was like beyond terrified. I was way more scared than in my first dream, and a freaking Dementor tried to eat me in the last dream. So this was so realistic. I felt like I was there. They were going to start experimenting on me. They were going to run tests on me, all these weird things. And he basically was like trying to get me to lay down or just stay still and cooperate, and just stop panicking. And I'm making this harder than it needs to be, kind of a thing. And it's just this long robotic eye like telling me all of this with this goon thing grunting. It was so bizarre. And I just remember I'm fighting. I'm starting to thrash now. I'm starting to move my arms, move my legs. I'm just like thrashing around as much as I can, just fighting for, again, what I felt like was my life. And then I wake up, my eyeballs open. I close my eyes really tight, and my eyeballs open, and I look up, and it's my ceiling, and I'm back in my own bed. And I'm laying there, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, okay, I can move everything. All right, I'm not tied down. Okay, I'm home. I'm not in some weird operating room anymore. And I'm just kind of looking around. And I immediately pulled out my phone and drew a picture of what this looked like. It actually kind of looked like, do you remember the movie Flight of the Navigator? And that weird ball thing that like talks to him. I don't know. It's like a robot, but it like looks like a ball. But again, not the same, okay? Because mine was like an eyeball that was blinking and stuff. But it kind of was like one of those things. And I don't know if like, it was a cryptoid that, exists somewhere, if it was truly just a dream, or, are there aliens out there kidnapping Hodors and attaching themselves to them and controlling them? Because I sat up, I drew this picture, I sent you guys the picture, and I just laid in bed for the next hour. Brandon didn't budge, my husband didn't budge, so I wasn't, thrashing around enough to wake him up, but obviously it was enough to finally wake me up. And to this day, I wonder, was I so resistant to them that they were like, all right, F this, send her back, like, we're done with this? Or was it just my mind playing tricks on me?
All right, Steve. There's a lot going on in this story.
There's a lot going on in this, but I think we need to do a little bit of housekeeping before we jump into this.
Yes, we do.
You are not the Brandon in this story.
This is not me at all.
No, because you would have acted much quicker, I feel like. You know, you like to think that you're a man on the spot, that you jump in there and make sure this is taken care of, but, Brandon was letting us see how it was playing out, and I appreciate that,
Yeah, I can respect that.
Here's the thing. you don't always have to make the most wide actions and motions.
Right.
Sometimes you got to see how stuff plays out a little bit, you know?
Let's not hit that hero button just, too quickly here.
That's right. I had a guy that I worked with one time. He told me that you never want to be the man, because once you're the man, you're always going to have to be the man. You just want to be that dude that comes through every once in a while.
Yeah. Leave the man to Ric Flair.
Yeah. I don't know why I took that to heart, because I was like, you're working a terrible warehouse job with me. Like, clearly this is not good career advice, but I took that to heart. So we have a lot going on in this call.
Yep.
The first thing we have is we have some sort of a sleep paralysis demon. Yep. Something that's hovering over, almost sucking the life out of her, aka or a la Harry Potter style with the Dementor, which is horrifying.
Yeah. The last few that we've gotten of these type situations, it seems like these things are choking them.
Yeah.
Trying to get the oxygen out of them, just suck the life completely out of them. So there's that connection with a few of these stories. So that's
well, and I feel like we're getting some real clarity as to what's going on with it as well, because there always seems to be a sense of heaviness. There always seems to be like a presence in the room, something that's unexplained, something that they can't tell what it is, but it just feels heavy. Yeah. And so that seems to be something that we're seeing a lot more commonly and a lot more often with these situations, which is what I think is super interesting, is the way we're starting to really kind of learn a little bit from this. Like, despite our best efforts, we're learning doing this. Like, who would have thought? Like, I was pretty sure I was going to say, as stupid as I am right now doing this, but I think I might actually be picking some stuff up.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of this going on.
Yeah.
The second part of, her story is where it gets really wild for me.
Now and there's a couple things in that first part that I want to go ahead and we probably need to touch on as well. The ghost that's chasing her, that she referred to him as the green slime ghost. His name is Slimer. It was right there. It was, it was right there. It was so close for her. It was right there.
I was going to let her slide on that one. Not give her too much of a hard time.
I mean, here's the thing.
Trauma,
Listen, I understand, but if it wasn't right there, if she was maybe described as like a green oozy ghost, but Slimer was right there.
Right there.
And if I didn't have a love for Ecto Cooler, as I do, I would have let it go.
They need to bring that back.
Man. Is there anything better?
Do you remember Hardee's for Ghostbusters 2? They'd put out the sound machines.
So we didn't have Hardee's. Really? Explain this to me, because I am all ears.
So it was almost like a keychain type thing, and it had two buttons on it. It had a Ghostbusters 2 logo on it. And you hit it, and it would make some movie, sound from the movie, like the proton packs or something, Slimer screaming, or it was really cool.
That sounds incredible.
And there's different colors, and so different sounds. It was really cool.
That sounds incredible. That sounds like one of those things that I would have had way too much Hardee's just to try to get all of them.
Yeah.
And it would have been bad news. I love Ghostbusters 2. It terrifies me to this day.
Is it the painting that?
Yes, Ego is terrifying. like it is a
school
like, he's a terrifying villain.
Yeah. I
remember watching that as a kid and just being like, hey, we shouldn't be watching this in class, right? Like, we should probably figure something else out. But I was like, when did the Great Pumpkin do us wrong?
Right.
Like,
where the guys come floating through the sky with the baby carriage, and that baby's just sitting on the ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, listen, there's a lot of moments in that movie that they probably shouldn't have passed. It's like Casper.
Mm-hmm.
You remember watching Casper? Did you watch that movie when it came out?
Yeah. Was it Christina Ricci? Was she?
Yeah. Okay. That was kind of like her big breakout thing. Casper's a dead baby. like it's a dead baby. It's awful, but he makes, the uncles make little fart jokes and pick on him, and everyone's like, "Oh, Casper," and it's like, that's just a dead little boy. That's terrible.
His mean uncles.
He's got mean uncles, and he's a dead little boy. That's awful.
Yeah, I liked the uncles though.
I bet you did. I bet you it makes a lot of sense.
And I pick on my nephews. So.
Here's the thing: I get blamed for bullying, but they don't see what happens when these cameras turn off. Okay, you are the uncles, you know,
Yeah, that's it.
and I'm just a little Casper over here, just taking all the heat.
Did you yell at me just like 5 minutes ago?
I mean, it was like an hour ago,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay, all right. So
Back on track.
back on track. So the second part,
Yep.
where she wakes up strapped to the gurney
Yeah.
with this almost like a overgrown thing taking direction from a second source,
Yeah.
starts like trying to like perform some sort of, I don't know, surgery, some sort of examination. That was awful.
Yeah. That's terrifying. And again, so the first part of the story, sucking the life out of her, the oxygen out of her so she can't breathe. The second part, her mouth's taped, she's covered, she can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
This is wild, man.
Now, it did make me think of Men in Black 2 when Johnny Knoxville had the second Johnny Knoxville that came over. You know, when she was describing it, that's the only thing that popped in my head. And so I don't think it was quite that level, but it definitely seemed like the first part was the muscle in the operation taking the orders. And then whatever this robot eye was the one commanding.
That's so freaky, man.
Yeah, I'm not going back to bed. Like
Yeah.
that's awful. So
Ever. Yeah.
what I did think was interesting, and this is a relatively new-ish theory that people are experimenting and playing with, is they're saying that the alien abduction thing that's happening is almost an MK Ultra situation.
Okay.
So some alien physicist will use the term. What they're saying is that these abductions may not be physical in nature, but psychological in nature. But they're connecting and working physically without actually being there doing the abducting.
Yeah. That part's interesting to me because I've had a similar experience to this when it was almost like time travel was involved with me.
Yeah.
So I woke up, just brief context of this. I woke up one night, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. So in the morning, I was sleeping on the couch. So I got off laying one way into the floor. I'm like, I'm going to get up in an hour and a half and go to the gym. I go back to sleep. I fall back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I have this dream, very vivid dream, that I'm walking down the street and the skies are opening up and there's this giant UFO there. And everybody's just running around me. And then this light comes down and it's like it's hovering over me. So it's going to take me.
Okay.
Fast forward, this goes on for just a second. Fast forward, I wake up, I'm laying in a different direction, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning on my phone. And I remember waking up, looking at my phone, 3 o'clock, and then waking up, and it was 2 hours before then again. It was really weird. So this really hits home for me a little bit here.
So let's draw some parallels here because this is super interesting. Do you have a memory of like having some sort of lucid dreaming?
You know, I feel like I've had like some sleep paralysis type stuff, but maybe not so much of the lucid dreaming.
Okay. So you haven't had you don't have like the very expressive dreams
Right.
where, okay. Have you ever been talked to by the Hat Man?
Never
Yeah.
seen the Hat Man.
No?
Fortunately,
Okay.
yeah.
Fortunately? Okay, because
Yeah.
you take that deal.
Yeah.
You would
I'd
take
sell out so
oh,
quick.
Gosh, I know
Yeah.
you would.
Yeah.
So it's interesting the idea of a lot of these things, these sleep demons, these things happen to people who have very vivid, very lucid dreams.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it's almost like a precursor. Like, hey, here's something that we can get into, you know, like almost like a prerequisite. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like kind of like did you ever have to take any of those military tests in high school? Like, you know, the ASVAB or like the career test or whatever.
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, you would be a great mechanic.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and they would try to send you down that path.
Right.
If you have these people that are having these very lucid dreams, these very vivid dreams, if they are registering with the aliens or the government or the UFOs or Lieutenant Squatch or whoever it is that's running this program.
Yeah.
And they know that, okay, we got one. We can get to them.
So it's kind of like a job interview almost.
Yeah.
Seeing if they're prepared.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the reason I haven't is because they know I'm lying. Very similar to most applications I've turned into my lifetime. It's just full of lies. Yeah. And so they're like, this guy is not a lucid dreamer. Yeah. He's not having these vivid dreams. And the whole time I'm just like, oh, every night. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. So your story, I think, is interesting in the fact that you lost time.
Yeah. It's really weird. And because I remember 100% waking up, looking at my phone, having that thought about getting up and going to the gym and just like, oh, I'll go to the floor for whatever reason.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that thought. Like when you're like, listen, I got to get up an hour and a half. I think the best thing that I can do right now is lay on the floor. What?
Maybe my back was hurting or something, I don't know. There's some reason why I did that, but I do remember the change in time, and that was very, very strange.
I think the aliens may have seen you hit the floor, and they're like, yep, no, he's making bad decisions. Yeah. Get him now.
And now this is the one.
This is the one.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah.
He's clearly out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's sleeping on the floor for no reason.
I did that for a long time.
I can never do it.
Really?
Yeah. I always just felt like I was so cold down there that I could never do it.
Really? Do you have that where your arms would go numb? Like you've got to constantly move?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I move a lot when I sleep in general. I mean, it is like a AAA wrestling match when I move. Like it's just like it's a full jump up and a flip and I'm back down. And so
little El Torito going on.
Yeah, I am Mil Mascaras.
Yeah,
like I am hitting the Hurricane Rana the entire time I'm sleeping. It's a bit of a problem. Yeah. I understand this.
Yeah.
We had to get a new mattress, like a foam one, just to combat this.
Yeah. Your poor wife.
Yeah. Listen, you're not the first to say it. We definitely won't be the last.
Yeah.
So she has this time, and what I think is the most interesting is the fact that she is put into this space. And not only is she taken into a different location, a different space, but she's able to remember so many of these details and so many of these different descriptors around what's around her, what she's feeling, how she's traveling, the interaction between the two.
Did she say when this took place? Like how many years ago?
She did not necessarily say when this took place. She did send us a picture of the drawing she made when she woke up, and we will post that. Okay. And so that did have the date and the time that happened on it. So it was a few years ago, but it was not long enough ago for me to be comfortable. That's for sure.
Right. But like how she described everything in such detail. And that's...
Oh no, this stuck with her.
Yeah, this
for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like in the world of Inside Out. This is a core memory. Like this is there.
I haven't seen that.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. You have not seen Inside Out?
Nope. Why?
What have you been doing with your life?
Apparently not enough.
Like,
yeah.
I don't. You get a little emotional about your kids growing up and stuff like that. So Inside Out may not be the best movie for you, but you need to watch it.
Okay.
At the very least, so you go back and listen to this and you'll understand my references here.
Yep, I got you.
And then go to Inside Out too. Listen, they keep getting better. All right. They keep getting better. You need to meet anxiety.
Yeah.
You have a healthy relationship with it already, but
which is why in the new studio we're going to have a couch.
But listen, I think this is so cool. This is so interesting. The fact that we have such a great story submitted. It hits on so many different levels. And the fact that this was something that stuck with her to such a deep level. I do think there is something in the fact that the abductions may not be taking place physically. They could be a mental thing. And it could be something like what happened with you where you're in a different place, you're in a different spot. It may have been something that took place completely mentally. Which
is a whole new thought process for me on this, because growing up, you'd hear about like what's the movie with Travis Walton?
I don't know.
Where he was abducted, and you always heard about the probing from these things, like it was all physical.
Listen, I didn't know. I was like, are we going to get to the probing? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, here's the thing. It always goes back to the probing, you
Yeah.
know? But go ahead. Talk more about your probing.
No, I'm just saying that's a new thought process. I always thought, you know, that when you got these people that were abducted, there's like some physical probing.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
well,
And that you would have this when you came back.
it's just probing and probing and probing. No, because when you think about it, you see like the UFO
Yeah.
and you see them beaming up the cow and
Yeah.
it becomes this whole thing.
Yeah.
But it could be something where it's not a very physical thing at
Right.
all. That this is something that they've learned. And so stuff like MK Ultra, stuff where our government has admitted to messing with our mind states
Yeah.
and coming in there and doing this type of thing, it could have been learned from somewhere.
Yeah.
Think about it. That's a lot going on.
That's a lot.
Now, if you would like to learn something from somewhere, you can hit us up on our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook, on our YouTube. Listen, guys, we need your help because to get these stories out there, to get more stories in, to get your stories out there so we can make some of these connections. Look how we learned about sleep demons already. Think about what we could learn about probings if we just get in there.
Easy. I don't want a lot of those stories.
If we could get in there, like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll get more of this out there so we can learn a little bit more together.
Yeah.
You can hit us up with these stories at 615-431-9003 or at paranormalpayphone@gmail.com, or you can slide into any of the DMs that we have. We're very active. We love to hear it. We love to interact and to get some of these comments, get some of these in here. So let's not be strangers. All right. We're all here to be friends.
So until next time, who you going to call?
That's Paranormal Payphone.